This is the Speakeasy podcast where we talk about the behind the scenes of being this successfully paid speaker and author, what that means, what that looks like, the good, the bad, the ugly. We are your number one podcast stop for all things that people don't really talk about when it comes to that journey. With that being said, I am super excited. I'm your host, Out-to-V Spelzer, the voice coach, professional speaker, certified life coach, Amazon bestselling author, and founder of the World Voice League, a community of entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are working towards social change. I am super excited, guys, excited. Why? Because I did something that for years, especially when I was working a job, I could not do. And that was just rest. I didn't type anything. I didn't turn on anything except for music. I just rested. It feels good. So I'm excited because we have an amazing guest today. Hey, Heidi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. So I'm excited because, I'll let Heidi introduce herself first, and then we'll go into why I'm so excited about today's topic. So Heidi, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am the oldest daughter of 4 children. I am an award-winning author. My book, Can I Rest a While, won the 2018 American Fiction Award. I am also a best-selling co-author of a book, a collaboration with Kim Coles, i.e. Sinclair, from the 1990s sitcom Living Single. I'm also an international speaker and a radio broadcast host. My broadcast is called In My Father's House. And we air on Boston Praise Radio every second and fourth Sunday from 4 to 5 p.m. You can catch me on Facebook Live and on YouTube. And I believe Roku TV as well.
I love it. I love it. So guys, when we talk about this speaker and author journey, let's be real. When you come into it, most speakers and authors and entrepreneurs immediately go into overdrive. It's a hard time shifting from employee to entrepreneur, especially if you're still working a job, because now it's more of, I call it a hat dance, where I have to put on my employee hat, take that off, put on my entrepreneur hat, take that off, put on my mom hat, take that off, and it's like literally a dance. But what ends up happening is if we do not add rest into this journey and into the success strategy and model, we burn out. And it's so sad because I see so many different entrepreneurs who have amazing ideas, amazing speakers, amazing authors, and they burn out because they went and they tried to run this race as if it was a sprint and it was actually a marathon. So let's talk about, what rest really means to you, Heidi, in the things that you do, because we talked about, you said you already published 2 books, but another one coming, as well as, you do your own radio show. Mm-hmm. So what does rest look like for you? And what would be that first thing that you would tell any other entrepreneur when it comes to rest?
Well, last year I had to start to put boundaries around how late I stayed up at night. Because it's easy when you're a creative, it's easy to stay up late at night. All these ideas popping, and it's easy to stay up late at night. But I found myself, because I still work a full-time job, and I found myself oversleeping and being late for work. And I'm like, you cannot do that because they are still paying your bills. So I had to put some bound. A friend of mine said to me, Heidi, I go to bed at 8 o'clock. I'm like, what? She's like, girl, I shut it down at 8 o'clock. And I thought that was a little too early for me, but I decided I was going to go to bed at 9 p.m. So I put a reminder on my phone at 8:45 that no matter what I'm doing, I have 15 minutes to finish it. And at 9 o'clock, I go to bed. Now, at first, I wouldn't be asleep. I'd be in there staring around and stuff like that. But I mean, I go up, and I don't live in my bedroom. I have a home office. I eat down there, watch TV, write, whatever I do down there. So when I go up to my bedroom, I go up there for the purposes of going to sleep. And some nights I don't fall asleep right away, but I'm not on the phone. I'm not watching TV. I just lay there until I go to sleep. And so I have found that I'm much more revived and all of that kind of stuff. And now I go upstairs and I'm just knocked out, and I can sleep straight through till 5 a.m. So I think we have to get enough rest. Absolutely have to get enough sleep. Otherwise, our mind is cloudy, our body is tired. And let's face it, you start to look old, and I am not trying to look how old I am at the moment. No way.
I definitely have to agree with you there. You said some powerful things, because we got to have discipline. We got to have discipline. Like, in order for us to be able to be this successful entrepreneur, successful speaker, successful author, there has to be some discipline there. And I know for me, I'm an early bird, so I'm normally up by 4 a.m. Mm-hmm. And that meant that if I'm up at 4 a.m., then usually by 8 o'clock, I got one eye open. And if you ask me a question, you may get any type of answer. Mm-hmm. Heaven only knows what it is, or if it's right. Mm-hmm. You don't know what you're going to get at that point.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know my body, and I know that I'm my best at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm my best in the mornings.
Right.
And so I had to look at a lot of things. And even when it came to working on projects for clients, I know that after about 6 p.m., everything's jumbled. Words are crossing and it's horrible. It's horrible. Right. So knowing and that I need to have that discipline going in, that sets me apart, because most people, when they're going and they're doing as an author or as a speaker, a lot of times they are still working a full-time job.
Right.
So this is the side, piece. So you're already overextending yourself because you're already working a full-time job. Mm-hmm. And now on top of that, you have the side business, and that doesn't even include life.
Right. Right.
That don't even include life.
I'm also an ordained elder in my church, and I lead the council of elders and ministers in my church. So that means I'm teaching a lot. Like, I just came off, I've been teaching since last September, every Sunday. Last Sunday was my last class, but that doesn't mean that I'm away at a speaking engagement. I need to be home on Sunday. And that also means I need to bring whatever books and whatever else. And, I really don't like to read on Kindle, but I had to start, getting all my books and things on Kindle so I could just take my iPad and prepare my lessons that way. Because otherwise, it's not fair. I have a commitment to people, so I can't just, give them anything that's not right. So so the other thing is you got to balance your time.
Oh, and time management is always such a huge issue, because I tell my clients all the time that time management includes me saying no. Mm-hmm. That word, learning to say no and be okay with saying no, is a part of time management. There's no way, shape, or form where, you can always say yes to everyone. Right. And get the rest that you need in order for you to be your best self, for you, your clients, your family. There's no way. And we get into that habit again, that first, and I always see it, that first 3 years. You can tell which entrepreneurs are like their first 3 years in, because they got bags under the eyes. They but they're everywhere. They're here, they're there, they're at this event, they're at that event. And you're just like, okay, gotta slow it down.
That was me last year. I was everywhere. And even if it were virtual, I was everywhere. doing radio show interviews from work like now, stuff like that. I was on a book tour, conferences. And, oh, did I say I'm an ordained minister, which means I also preach and teach. I was in St. Thomas twice to do a conference for a church down there. So I was everywhere. So I slept the holidays away.
Wow. And, I used to laugh because I used to say, oh, well, it's New Year's Eve. I'm going to stay up to the ball drop. And I text people now and be like, listen, Happy New Year. They be like, it's like 8:00. Yeah, I'm not going to make it. So I'm just going to let you know right now. Happy New Year. I'm safe. You're not going to hear from me at 12. Happy New Year, though.
No, we have church that starts at 10 p.m. So that means we work from home that day. So we can take the nap before church at 10 p.m.
And I had some places where, normally it depends on where I am, where my kids are, and, but this year I was just like, I couldn't do it, guys. I can't. I love y'all, though. I love you, but I can't. Sorry, I just need to go. And I'll say it. My son came in the room and was like, Happy New Year's at midnight. He was like, Happy New Year's, Mom. I was like, Happy New Year's. That was about it. That was all she wrote. Couldn't do it. But I think another big piece of it is setting boundaries and really knowing yourself and knowing what you can handle. That saying no is important, but I got to know myself in order to know, okay, why am I really saying yes to this opportunity? Is it because I just want, the exposure? Because we all know that in the beginning, again, it's all about exposure. It's all about getting out there in front of the different audiences. We understand that part.
Right.
But am I doing it to my own detriment? Why am I really saying yes to this opportunity? Even some of the writing opportunities, because right now it's huge. I know that you said that you've done book collaboration, which was a great book collaboration. And even to some of the book collaborations in 2018, I had to say no, because I just knew time-wise, I knew trying to help promote and the things that would come along with that. I knew I would not have the time to do it.
Right.
So you gotta make sure that you know yourself. Now, if someone comes up to you and they're already at full steam ahead, they're at 150%, what would be the thing that you would tell them to work on first in order to start getting that rest and dialing it back a bit?
Well, it's funny because we just had this conversation last night in the group that I'm part of, because I was starting to feel overwhelmed, and it's only January 17th, and I was feeling overwhelmed. And what was said to me was, you got to figure out what the priority is. What's really the pressing priority, right? And if you've got multiple competing priorities, then I was told to do something called 60-60-30. So spend 60 minutes focused working on one thing. At the end of that 60 minutes, shift your focus, maybe get up, take a walk around, come back, focus 60 minutes on something else. And then at the end of that 60 minutes, take a 30-minute break. Whether you eat, whatever it is you do at that 30-minute interval, and then come back. Because and I said to myself, girl, you knew that. Because I used to do at work, when it got overwhelming, I would do 90 minutes, right? But I had to be reminded, of this laser focus for a specific period of time, so that, that I become productive during the day, as opposed to, because I'm one of those people, if I get really stressed, I'm like, and I do absolutely nothing. I get stuck. It's almost like standing still and just watching the stuff, But this concept really helped me today. So I would suggest that to someone as well.
I can definitely agree there. It's a matter of, listen, at this point, you have to really, well, with everything that's been going on and health wise, how many issues that are going around, you have to really say, listen, this is life or death.
Right.
It is.
We have to take care of ourselves.
Exactly. If I don't take that rest, then what is that going to mean for my body later on? Right. What's going to decide that since I didn't want to rest, it's going to make me rest.
Because then we wonder why we have little colds and things like that, because we didn't get enough rest. That's why my sister laughs all the time. Girl, you sound like an old lady. Sure do. I go to bed at 9 o'clock. And it's like, you sound like an old lady. Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Not one bit. I tell people,
that means shutting off the phones, because the other thing is we're too connected.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching Good Morning America the other day while I was getting ready for work, and they were talking about the average person picks up their phone at least 300 times a day. That's a lot. And I'm like, gee, I'm probably one of those people. So, it's a lot because we're constantly connected. So we got to disconnect every once in a while.
It's interesting because I was just listening to the Facebook podcast, and they were talking about how, we've gone from being 6 and 7 degrees of separation to 3.5,
That's right.
degrees of separation because of social media. Everybody knows everybody, and you can literally get in connection with anybody through social media. But it does bring us to a point where now we're glued to our phones. When I rebranded my business in 2016, for me, a big shift was that do not disturb button. Man, really? When I learned that do not disturb button on my phone, couldn't tell me nothing. Folks was calling me, can you take the do not disturb off? Did you not realize you didn't get any calls for 2 days?
Right. Oops, I forgot that was on.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Wow. But, you got to understand that you have to do what's going to be necessary for you. And if I know my children are safe, because I have 4 teenagers, if I know that they're safe, I know my family is safe. And I mean, you can set it up that, emergency phone calls can come through. Like you can set it up that certain people can come through. But I just had to go ahead and put it on do not disturb and leave it.
Right.
Because those notifications, we get notifications for everything.
Everything.
Every app on the phone got notifications.
I know.
Every email. You literally drain your battery more from notifications than anything else. All of the different notifications from the apps and stuff that come in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know. And I like to spend time shopping with my sister. So, I got to balance my time. I didn't spend nearly enough time with my sister or my great nephews who I love. I have a 4-month-old baby at my house. And so I want to spend time with her. So I got to balance my life between, being an author and a speaker, working a full-time job, writing, and spending time with my family.
Oh, and that balance, it's interesting because it's like it's always in a teeter-totter because you give more to something than you give to something else, simply because if it's done right, I think we've been lied to because we've been told in order to get more things done, you need to multitask.
And we're not doing anything well when we do that. Nothing is done well because we're jumping from this thing to that thing, and there's no real laser focus on any one thing. That's why that 60-60-30 is really important.
That's it. And we're out here multitasking everything. Everything can't be multitasked.
And then we're also told, I like how you said that we're lied to. We're also told that we can have it all. No, you can't. You got to figure out what's important. You got to figure out what you need in your life and what's important to you, and focus on those things. Because that you can have it all. No, you can't.
And the thing about it is we're told so much. You can have it all. You can get everything you want. But are you really going after the things that you want?
Or are we keeping up with the Joneses or now the Facebook famous?
Like, yeah, are you really going after the things that you really want? You gotta ask yourself that honest question and say, am I really doing this because this is what I want and what I desire and what I need?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it what I saw somebody else say, was the thing to have? I know for me, I literally went back and said, freedom for me was the go-to. That's what I wanted. I wanted freedom. Whereas other people were trying to make 7 figures and 8 figures and 10 figures. I get it. But that wasn't me. Now, granted, I do want to make money, sustainable money, so that way I can go ahead and leave money for my children and invest in stuff.
Right.
Yes, that's something that I desire because I desire it. But for me, it was about freedom.
Mm.
So while everybody else was going and getting their hair and their nails done and buying new shoes and new outfits, I was like, first of all, I don't like to shop. So
please, I can shop all day, every single day. I can go to the store, put an outfit together. Now, this is therapy for me. I can go to the store, put an entire outfit together. I mean, shoes, bags, accessories, everything, and leave it right there in the store. Because for me, it was therapeutic.
Right. Not me. They got to pull me into a mall. Okay, they got to kicking and screaming, but it was because that wasn't my drive. Now, for me, here I am, a year off of my job, able to say I'm almost debt free as an entrepreneur. Not many people can say that.
Right.
And it was because freedom was my journey. That was what I wanted. I didn't need to have some red bottoms. That's cute. But most of them uncomfortable. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, but see, here's the trick to shoes like that. Those are not for walking down the street.
No, they're for cute, for pictures.
Sitting in the chair with your legs crossed, looking cute.
Exactly.
Or for your photo shoot. That's
it. They be cute shoes. That's all they are. Be cute shoes.
Because I've got bins and bins full of shoes, so I know.
You got to know what it is that you're really going after. Are you going after your dreams and desires? Are you going after the dreams and desires of somebody else? It's necessary, because that'll also give you the energy and the strength to be able to say no and be able to just sit down and rest. And, as I was looking over what I've done in the last 2 years, I'm like, wow, like that's crazy to go from being homeless to podcasting and speaking and traveling and all of these different things, being able to leave my job and like all in 2 years. That's crazy.
I want to go back to something that you've been saying about, are you living your dreams or going after your dreams as someone else's? I want to address that, because especially for young people, because my parents had my whole life mapped out. Right, there's a Fidelity Investments commercial where they have this green line on the ground that they tell people to follow. Just follow this, or like the Wizard of Oz, follow the yellow brick road. But it wasn't what I wanted to do. And I went to college because that's what they wanted me to do. And I did all kinds of things because that's what they wanted me to do. And I was miserable. The hardest conversation I ever had with my parents was, I don't want to do this. And so I left school. And I left school for a long time. right? And I went back and I left, and I went back and I left, and I worked and went back and left. And finally, I went back to school later in life because that's what I wanted to do. And I graduated with my bachelor's degree in 2012, and I earned my master's degree with a concentration in organizational leadership in 2017. I'm bringing all of that up to say, make sure what you do is you follow your own passions. I know our parents have lines drawn in the sand, and this one's going to do this. But if that's not what makes you happy, right, you got to do what makes you happy. This isn't a trial run. We only get to do this one time, right? So do what you want to do and do it to the fullest of your ability, leave a legacy, and give back to somebody that's less fortunate. So I just wanted to address that because I've been down that road.
I love it. I love it. I'm someone that when I tell my children, when we have discussions about what it is that they want to do after high school, it's always interesting because right now I have one in every grade in high school. And so the first one graduates this year, and then we'll have graduations for 4 years straight. Mm-hmm. And they're all into the arts. They love either dance and music or this and that. And I listen, whatever it is that you love is what I want you to do. Right. And they know that that's always been my push for them. If you don't love it, don't do it. Don't do it. And they're like, but you got to do that. No. Well, I don't want to, but mom, you're supposed to do, no. It's not what you're supposed to do. What is it that you really want to do? And it's really allowed them to be able to enjoy high school more because they've been able to do the things that they really enjoy. They've been able to do musicals and all, learn Korean and all of these different things because they're like, well, I'm able to do what it is you said what I want to do. So this is what I want to do. Right. And so one of my girls my middle girl is actually my little sister. We just finalized the adoption for her. And she wants to teach English in Korea.
Wow.
So she just brought me, I'm like, okay. And in the back of my mind, I'm going, that's far.
Right.
Like, okay.
Why Korea, kid? Why Korea?
Oh, she has a fascination with Korea. She loves Korea. She loves K-pop music and Korean dance. She watches the Korean and Japanese shows and she started teaching herself Korean.
Wow, that's incredible.
So, and I was like, okay, all right. And, she stepped into finding a program where she could go and start learning teaching skills because she's really interested in when she graduates high school that she wants to be able to leave and go to Korea for at least a year or two and teach. And I was just like, wow, that's, I never even had a mindset like that when I was in high school.
I've always been a wanderlust, so I always knew that I needed to have a job that I could travel. And I did have a job where I could travel. I worked in London for 5 years and got to travel Europe to visit clients. And now that I'm a speaker and minister and stuff like that, I get to minister in other countries. So that's awesome. So
I love
it's a good thing that I don't have children of my own because it would make it very difficult, the kind of person that I am and the things that I do.
Definitely. I'm looking at them and I'm going, go for it. Mm-hmm. Whatever it is, go for it. I'll get over it. Listen, I understand you don't want to leave mom and listen, I'll get over it. I really will. At some point, I'll get over it. I want you guys to live your best life. And I think that rest and teaching, that's the other piece of it, is that as I've started learning to rest more, I'm teaching them to rest more as well. I'm teaching them to take better care of themselves. I'm teaching them to, to understand that it's necessary for you to be successful in this journey. You can't keep running at 100% all the time. You're going to run out of steam.
Right. And that's what I tell my niece all the time. She's a new mom. Her baby's 4 months old. Like, you know what, honey? You can go back, because she had a singing career and stuff like that. And I said to her, you know what? You can go back to that. Just because you have a child doesn't mean you can't do it. Honey, if you got a strap Lady Nola to your chest and hit the stage, then hey, it's not impossible. It can be done. And thank God, like your children and my family, the other part of resting and taking care of yourself is recognizing your support system. Because sometimes you have to lean on your support system. So in the running and the living our dreams and all of that, we can't forget about the people in our lives that have helped us. Because none of us have gotten to where we are by ourselves, right? My sister keeps me fed, thank God. I always laugh about it, but there's not a week that doesn't go by that she doesn't call and say, hey, I made this and that, come over and get food. So you got to keep your relationships close. Keep the people that have supported you the most close, because you know what? They're the ones that see who we really are. Right? They see the good, the bad, and the ugly, and they help us pick up the pieces. So part of that resting and taking care of yourself is keep your loved ones and your connections and your friends close.
They most certainly do. And one of the things that I often ask every guest that comes on is I say, in this journey, what has been a blunder for you? What has been something that you look back and you're like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that thing.
Let's see. There's a couple things I probably shouldn't have done. One of them is, and kind of goes back to what I was just saying, because that's personal for me. I know how it is to get in that sprint, right? And forget about my family. I gotta go. So missing on family outings and missing at family, gatherings and things like that, because I gotta go. I gotta get this. I gotta go. I was in London, and in 2007, I was in London, and 4th of July. 4th of July is not a holiday in London. We were liberated from them, right? So I'm over there, I'm working. I've been there a couple months, and I'm lonely. 4th of July, I call home. My mother's in the backyard, picks up the phone. There's 100 people in her yard. Like, really, I want to go home. I called my boss, like, I'm going home. Right? So don't be in such a hurry. Because one of the things my pastor always used to say to me, that if it's for you, it will wait for you. Right? Don't give up your relationships with your family. Because here today, so listen, this is not to be funny, right? But Mr. Brown said something to me that was kind of profound. Folks is dying that ain't never died before, right? And we crack up laughing. But when you sit with that for a second and realize how many people are leaving this earth now, keep your relationships tight. It's not that serious. If it's for you, it'll be there for you.
I definitely like that's a wow moment. That's like a mind blown moment because you you often think, oh my goodness, I'm going to miss this opportunity. The same thing goes along with, not wanting to say no and turn down an opportunity. If I miss this, then nothing else is coming. And I tell people that's a poverty mindset. That's a poverty mindset. And to think that this one is going to be the only one. It's not. It's most definitely not. And so I have to agree with you 150 to 200% on that one. Learning that lesson early on will help you to take that time out. It will help you to spend that time with your family. It will help them to want to invest in what you're doing and see, what you're doing and be proud of you because they're along on the journey. Now, I get it. Everybody can't go on the journey with you per se, but take that time to spend with them.
And I mean, literally, I took my sister on one of the book tours with me last year. She's coming with me on a trip again in March. So because sometimes I just need to have her close. She adds, the yin to my yang. So sometimes I need to have her close. She'll go out and I tell her, look, girl, this is work for me. I can't hang out with you all day long. I don't care. You go to work. I'm gonna do so and so and so. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll meet up for dinner or stay a day later or two and hang out together or whatever. But sometimes I just need to have her with me.
Right. Sometimes it's just the simple things.
Yeah.
I know that one of my aunts, she travels with me a lot on different events. And so it's just the simple things, her being in the room with me and, her getting to see me, because she's seen the whole journey. So seeing them now is like, oh man.
It's like when the book came out, right? Just before they release the book, they send you, I don't know what it's called, a beta copy or whatever. So you can go through it and check it for grammar and spelling and all of that kind of stuff. I gave it to her. She's like, oh no, it should go to mom. No, it should go to you. I said, because you're the one that's listened to all of my stories and listened to all of my poems. You were there in the middle of the night when we were kids, when I couldn't sleep and all of that. So this is yours. So that's how special it is to have her on the journey with me.
And that speaks volumes. Oh my goodness, guys. So if you have not been listening and you just came in, I don't know how you did that. By all means, make sure that you go and check out this whole episode. Rest is definitely a part of the success journey. There's no successful entrepreneur that will tell you that they literally did not take some time to rest, take some time to spend time with family, take some time to just invest in self-care. Because listen, the ones that don't take that time are the ones that cannot enjoy the success because they're dealing with so many different issues of health and listen, or they're alone. They're by themselves. And so we want to make sure that you understand just how powerful rest can be for you as the entrepreneur, the speaker, and the author. With that being said, Heidi, let them know where they can get the books and how they can find you and connect with you.
You can get Can I Rest a While and Open Your Gifts on Amazon.com. You can also get Can I Rest a While at IamHeidi.org. If you order it from IamHeidi.org, I will autograph it and send it to you. I am on Instagram at IamHeidi01 and Heidi Lewis-Ivey on Facebook. And you can catch me every second and fourth Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern In My Father's House radio broadcast.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm super excited, guys. So that I had to learn the hard way about getting some rest and taking care of myself. And as a speaker, my personal trainer says, you got to be fit for service, and that speaks volumes. You can check an earlier episode where we were talking to a young lady who is an opera singer and a voice coach for singers and for speakers, and just talking about, different things and the breathing techniques and things of that nature that you really need to pay attention to, because guess what? This is a whole body experience. This is a journey. And you have to be able to take care and show up with the complete version of you. If you're not showing up as the complete version of you, then you're not really giving them 100%. And I always say that, I want to show up and give them 100%, give them 200%, because I want them to walk away changed from what they were when they came. That part is super important for me. Now, that may not be every speaker. I get it. Some speakers don't care if you change.
No, there has to be transformation.
Exactly. I want to see transformation. So with that being said, guys, if you are a speaker or an author, I would love to have you on and talk about your journey and your behind the scenes of becoming the successful speaker and author and entrepreneur here on the Speakeasy Podcast. If you go to bit.ly/Speakeasy Podcast, all lowercase, you can definitely come on. Pick a date that works best for you. I think we're all the way out to April by now. Pick a date that works for you. Connect, and get yourself over here so that way we can talk about your speaker journey and what it is that you have to offer the world. With that, I thank you so much, Heidi, for being a guest on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry, I must have asked you 4 times this week. What time is
Oh, I get it all the time because people are like,
"Girl, get your."
I don't like inundate you with a whole bunch of emails and stuff. So people are like, "Is everything okay?" Yes, you're okay.
I think this has been on the schedule for like 4 months.
Yep. Yes, indeed, and it literally fills up really quickly. Because I'm always connecting with speakers and authors and entrepreneurs all over. So there are people that have been on this podcast from all over the world. And I love that. I love that opportunity. I love that experience. And even with the podcast, because when I started, I was podcasting Monday through Friday. And that was not a good look.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
That was not a good look. As a fellow host, that was not a good look. And so I literally had to shut that down and just go on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I appreciate it more. So when I show up, I'm showing up 100%. I'm ready.
Right.
Instead of showing up and I got 1 hour. Right. Exactly. So I am your host, guys, Altavis Pelzer, the voice coach, professional speaker, certified life coach, Amazon bestselling author, and founder of the World Voice League. We look forward to seeing you guys and talking to you guys later. Don't forget, hop on over to iTunes and give us a review. We want to know how this particular episode impacted you. Maybe you liked it, maybe you didn't. Let us know. Going to bit.ly/Speakeasy Podcast Show, all lowercase. And until next time, guys, don't forget to press it out. See ya.